Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra. Well, Hurun India and 360 Wealth have released the 361 Wealth Hurun India Rich List of 2023, which is a compilation of the richest individuals with a wealth of over 1,000 crore rupees. Now, Mukesh Ambani has again topped this list this year, with his wealth surging over 8.08 lakh crore rupees, followed by Gautam Adani, whose wealth has grown over 4.7 lakh crore rupees. Cyrus Poonawalla has retained his third spot this year. Joining in to discuss more insights on the entire report are now extremely special guests joining right in. Anas Rahman Junaid joins in. He's the MD and Chief Researcher at Hurun India. And Yatin Shah also joins in. He's the co-founder of 361 and joint CEO of 361 Wealth as well. Welcome to both of you and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Now, this is definitely a much awaited report which is out. The Richie Rich List definitely indicates some interesting facts that 1,319 Indians now possess over 1,000 crore rupees or more in wealth. And we are witnessing a remarkable surge of over 76% over the last 5 years. Help us understand what are the other key trends that you've spotted in this report. Let me start off with Anas first.
Hi, thanks, Sakshi. Thanks for the opportunity. This, as you rightly said, from our perspective, the 361 Wealth Hurun India Rich List is all about trying to speak about the story of Indian economy through the eyes of entrepreneurs. So it's been a fantastic year from an Indian context. Just to give you a perspective, when the China Rich List has lost about 10% of their entrepreneurs this year and last year, India has gained about 278 entrants to the 361 Wealth Hurun India Rich List, and we've added 38 new billionaires to the list. Mind you, the dollar has appreciated 3% against the Indian rupee. Despite that, we've added 38 billionaires. If the currency was the same, it would have been 50 plus. So it's been a great year. All the sectors are performing, except for startup and startup ecosystem. But generally, everybody is performing well. All the sectors have produced new entrants. It's a great year from an Indian context.
Okay, we'll dive more into the details. Yatin, let me bring you in. What your report also brings out is a mind-boggling fact that the cumulative wealth of these listers has surged to over 109 lakh crore rupees. That is surpassing the combined GDP of three countries, Singapore, UAE and Saudi Arabia. What does this go on to tell us?
I think the wealth number becomes a way of ranking and just letting one know the kind of prosperity and wealth creation as an opportunity in India. But I think the big picture out here is to see what's happening in terms of the growth story of India and the wealth creation through way of entrepreneurship. I think entrepreneurship is getting democratized. What I like about the list is the participation coming from more than 90 plus cities of India. Yeah. And to the surprising the fact that Tirupur, has entered the top 20 list, and Gujarat itself from 4 cities, Surat, Rajkot, Ahmedabad, and Baroda, and we call them tier 2 cities, have almost 110 as a number of 1,000 crore plus wealthy individuals and families. So my excitement more from his perspective that gives you a trajectory platform what India has built, and where an entrepreneur with having great ideas gets a way to kind of build an enterprise, and India offers them the growth opportunity which leads to what is known as wealth creation. So it's more of a celebration of entrepreneurship spirit in India.
Yeah, sure. I'll come back and circle back to the entrepreneurship and the participation from that basket to you. But Anas, Mukesh Ambani has again topped this year. What are some of the other interesting trends that you spotted when it comes to the top 10 names this time?
I think the top 10 names are pretty much remain the same compared to last year. But one interesting point that I want to add, which has an impact on the top 10 is India. If you look at the overall 361 Wealth Hurun India Rich List, almost 65% of them are aged about 60, which means you could expect intergenerational wealth transfer to the tune of $1 trillion, which is the combined GDP of UAE and Singapore, which could happen in the next 10, 15 years. So this would result in a lot more next-gen wealth creators, professionals, investors, women wealth creators, all that various baskets in the next 10, 15 years. So and the top 10 is going to be leading the way in terms of this further wealth distribution and new age wealth creation.
Sure, and we will be watching out for those trends play out over the next few years as well. Yatin, like you largely pointed out, that what you really like about this list is the participation coming in from, self-made entrepreneurs, and that is clearly one of the themes that you've talked about in this report as well. Anas pointed out largely the top 10 names remain these industrialists who've been there, ruled the Richie Rich list for decades now. Beyond the top 10, are you seeing increased participation from young guns, startup founders as well? Is there a substantial increase over the last few years?
I think that number seems to continue to surprise us. I think 5 years or 10 years back, the number of the youngest founder was 37 on this list, and 2023, that age now is gone to 20-year-old being the youngest founder. So it's a phenomenal, way things have shaped up for young budding entrepreneurs to kind of try their hand out and build an enterprise in India. I think other interesting trend is the diversity. I think the average age is also reducing, but also what's increasing is the diversity of the list, what you are seeing in terms of number of net new women entrepreneurs who join the list. Also, the oldest being 94, so the range of 24 to 94. 94 years of age for the first time who's entered this list. And
Tell us
the
the name. Give us the name.
it's from Precision. I think it's a Precision Wires. Mr.
Okay.
Mahendra is the name of the individual,
Okay.
and he's 94 years old. Of course, the trend I'm focusing on is, if you see the contributors of number of net new families and individuals, almost 30% plus is coming from what we call is the manufacturing sector. The top of the list is the pharma entrepreneurs, then chemical and specialty, and then the industrial products, and so on and so forth. What also talks about is the trend towards manufacturing, what India is doing to help entrepreneurs to kind of encourage manufacturing, be self-sufficient, be indigenous, make in India campaign, and of course also export to the rest of the world.
Sure. Anas, would you like to add? Yatin pointed out, the diversity is definitely something that is very, very exciting to see. A 20-year-old Zepto founder really making it to the list, and then the 94-year-old Mr. Mehta also being a part of the same list as well. What about women? Are you seeing increased participation from women also in this space?
Yeah, definitely. But one important point is that India is a very young country, and we're possibly a teenager when it comes to history of nations. And most of our traditionally run or the famous companies are built by male-driven founders, that kind of ecosystem. But what you would see in the next set of wave is to the startup ecosystem, the professionals, the next generation women entrepreneurs coming on board. You would see a lot more women participation when it comes to Indian wealth creation story. So I think in the next 10 years or so, this number of women, active women wealth creators in the 361 Hurun India rich list is definitely going to at least double in the next 5 to 6 years is what I foresee.
Okay. There have also been, apart from the additions like you guys have been pointing out, there have also been some exits, about 55 exits from this list, and Byju's is a notable exit. Yatin, any other key notable name that you've noticed which has seen reduction in wealth?
I think my focus is on net new addition. What we get to see is 250 plus new entrepreneurs. I think that's the encouraging part. I think the part is that it's a business building, and the environment when an entrepreneur has to face, including external factors, including competition, including regulation, and so on and so forth. It's a tough journey. It takes 10, 15, 20, 30 years to build an enterprise. So it's going to be a process where sometimes you may get out of the list and sometimes you get added to the list. But overall, the trend is very encouraging.
All right. Anas, Yatin was also pointing out to some of the states like Gujarat. He pointed out Tirupur as being part of the list. So geographical distribution, help us understand that in terms of cities and states. How has the wealth been distributed? Which are the biggest contributors to the number of individuals who are part of this list?
It's obvious. Mumbai is the top contributor to the list. Number 2 is New Delhi, which almost, in the context of World Cup, New Delhi is almost hit a double century, contributed 199 people to the list. And Bangalore has hit a century, we have 100 entrants from the city of Bangalore. So that's actually the top 3 cities in that order. But what I would like to share with you is what Yatin said earlier. When you put out the list in 2012, there were just 10 cities contributed to most number of wealth creators.
Wow.
Now that's grown to 95 cities, right, towns or villages over the last 11 years. That's only India. Now, if I look at the NRIs and Indians outside creating wealth outside of India, that's another 25 to 30 cities. So Indians are literally firing from all cylinders, creating wealth from everywhere. Wealth creation is happening every other, the geography and across age group. So that's the sort of very exciting trend that I see when it comes to cities.
Sure. Yatin, point out to us the industrial participation as well. Tell us which are the sectors that have been seeing maximum participation coming in from the wealth creators.
I think what usually we get excited about the new age tech founders story. They are early, they are cool. It's great to hear them about media. But what we are seeing, interestingly, on the wealth creation side, is the traditional industries which have been a strong strength of India in terms of pharmaceuticals, which started with the outsourcing, now become the Indian domestic healthcare sector, becomes suddenly super interesting. Talking about chemicals, specialty chemicals, due to external factors, China plus one strategy. Now, foreigners want to see a very good source of supply coming from India. Then we're talking about industrial products and so on and so forth, the whole manufacturing PLI scheme. So when you look at the list which has been showing up, it gives you a very strong sign that we are moving, not just doing well in services, but we're also now excelling on trying to establish ourselves as a manufacturing hub of the world.
Okay, then last word from both of you I'll take. Anas, coming to you, what is the outlook going forward given the macro landscape? Everybody is talking about that this is going to be India's decade, and are we going to see more wealth creation, more people participating? What is your own sense of how do we see this list growing, both in terms of diversity and the addition of the numbers too? Anas, could you unmute yourself, please?
Sorry. I'm sorry. In 2012 rich list, the threshold to enter the top 10 was 30,000 crores. And now it is about 1,20,000 crores to enter the top 10, right? A number of billionaires in the 2012 list was about 57. Now it is 259. Then number of individuals with a net worth of 5,000 crores in 2012 was about 60. Now it is 408. Right. So, and during this time, if you can see the super wealth creators, they have grown in multiples. And during this period, India's GDP grew by 88%, over the last, from 2012 to now. So in the next 10 years, when we expect the GDP is going to double and so on, funnel is going to further increase. And the wealth creation story in India has just gotten started. I think it's going to be very exciting next set of years. My only hope is we have more wealth creation happening from the futuristic sectors like space tech, sustainability, clean tech, AI, and so on. And if India could lead that part of wealth creation, that'd be fantastic.
Wonderful. Yatin, over to you with the same question.
I think structurally, both external factors supporting the growth for India and both internal factors, what we call is the 4Ds: demographic, demand, digitalization, and democracy, which is what we call is our era, which is allowing an entrepreneur to come with his own idea. There's no dearth of capital for good entrepreneurs, good businesses, which means the wealth creation as an exercise, entrepreneurship exercise is getting democratized. There's no face to money. And that is an encouraging sign the youth of India will first try his hand to become an entrepreneur. And that's a sign to say that, more and more opportunity for more and more Indians and Indian entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Anas, and thank you so much, Yatin, for being with us on the show, discussing all the insights from your latest report. Definitely speaks a lot about the kind of wealth creation that we are seeing across us, and this is only bound to grow looking at the macro landscape as well. Many thanks for being with us on this special edition.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, and we will wrap up this special edition for you right here, but do stay tuned on Business Today TV as a whole lot of news updates continue from the world of business and stock markets.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.